Welcome to Waking Up America, the Not Morning Show. Today's news: the police and military coordinate to silence a concerned mom after she exposes sexual material at her school. Let's talk about this while we still can. I am your host, Alexander Graves, the Constitutional Conservative. If you guys enjoy this content, please consider following us on Twitter at Waking America Up. Let's get into it. So, first story of the day. Mom complains about sexually perverse posters at elementary school. Elementary school. Police, military officers, and others secretly work together to silence her. Before we dig into that, if you guys want to support this content, please consider heading on over to buymeacoffee.com/wakeup. We are unfortunately shadow banned on YouTube. Also, before I continue here, if you guys could please like, subscribe, share this with your friends, or if you have any suggestions on how I can grow this channel, or if you want to see any particular stories focused on, anything like that, please comment below. Let me know. Always appreciate the feedback. All right, let's get back into it here. This story will 100% blow your mind. It is a ridiculous story. So, a New Jersey mother says multiple government entities and employees worked together to deprive her of her freedom of speech after she expressed her objection to sexual material displayed at her local elementary school. Quote, "The harassment and intimidation from the military and people who believed what they had said was too much. I really felt my kids were not safe." This goes to show that we are in 1984. We have the police and the military both censoring conservative speech. Anyone who goes against the narrative is pursued and sought as a terrorist. It gets worse. Let's continue. This case is an alarming indication to the extent to which the entire executive branch under the current administration has become a surveillance apparatus targeting conservative opinion. You can see this throughout society today. Conservative opinions are shut down, including this channel. And it has to stop. So, what is the story here? Her crime. Angela Reading, a 35-year-old mother of two and a member of her local school board at the time of these events, took to Facebook to express her concerns about posters in the North Hanover Township's upper elementary school. The posters, hand-drawn by children, contained terms like polysexual and genderqueer, aka child grooming. Reading questioned the elementary school's promotion of sexuality-based research topics in the Facebook post. This drew the attention of the woke left and the military and the police. So, post was requested to be taken down. Major Christopher Schilling, an officer at nearby Joint Base McGuire-Dix Lakehurst, objected to Reading's post and characterized it as placing, quote, targets on many parents as well as the schools, their personnel, and students by calling out the sexualization of kids. This somehow put targets on the backs of parents? Or did it maybe put targets on the back of the pedophile teachers? Let's continue. Next, Vasquez emailed, and this is Joseph Vasquez, the installation of anti-terrorism program manager at Joint Base MDL. So Vasquez emailed Schilling, Lesher, and Hall to inform the group that he was sharing their concerns with the New Jersey Office of Homeland Security and Preparedness and the New Jersey State Police Regional Operations Intelligence Center over a Facebook post. In this email, he noted that the aforementioned agency's analysts, quote, keep an eye on far-right hate groups. Right. That's the problem with society today. It's all the white supremacist, extremist, far-right hate groups running around, not the woke leftists destroying our economy, destroying the moral fiber of our country, and corrupting our children, as well as child grooming and molesting them. No, it's definitely the far right. That's the issue right now. Keep it up and you're going to have an issue. Let's get back into it. Police Chief Duff asked Nick Stufer to remove Reading's post. So this is the administrator of the page that she posted on, being requested to remove her content. Completely going against the First Amendment. Stufer is the administrator of the Facebook page on which Reading posted, and also the writer of the Chaos and Control Report. Per Stufer, Duff said he was acting in cooperation with JDMDL, and that Homeland Security was also involved over a Facebook post. To censor a Facebook post, this should go to federal Supreme Court because this is government actors directly attacking this lady's freedom of speech. She is allowed to express her opinion, and she's allowed to call out what they are doing in these schools. Quote, it is a tremendous loss to our community that this extremist group intends to eradicate any and all differing opinions in an effort to control the narrative where politics comes before children, Reading said in her letter of resignation. She was forced to resign from the school district over this post. Quote, "When I resigned, I didn't realize the extent of the military and government involvement. I had hoped it was just one military official and the police. Now I know it was an army of people," Reading told The Blaze. "The military's actions not only caused significant harm to me, but also undermined the principles of local politics and democracy, as they were meant to suppress my lawful political expression and force me to resign from my elected position." They are continually forcing these conservatives and anyone who does not go along with their woke ideology out of the school systems to further corrupt your kids. Take your kids out of school. At the time, Reading knew only of the involvement of Major Schilling and Chief Duff. Since that time, through Open Public Records Act FOIA requests, Reading also discovered that several government entities had been interacting behind the scenes. This is terrifying. This should terrify all Americans. The fact that the government is this involved in censoring political speech. This must end. It is becoming completely out of control. And I agree with Representative Massey here, who has put together a bill. It's a great bill, super succinct, super quick and easy to understand. Representative Thomas Massey of Kentucky has introduced a brief bill that would do away with the U.S. Department of Education. That is one step in this that we need to do. But before I get into that, there's one thing you can do as parents. Take your kids out of the public school system. It is not safe. It is not safe for them at all. They are being sexualized. They are being groomed. They're being turned into little communists. They are attacked on a daily basis. It is not safe for them. Find a charter school in your area. Find a private school. Teach them at home. Buy some books. Homeschool your kids. Teach them morals. Teach them to respect the Constitution. Teach them to respect a free society. Let's get into the bill here. So it's very simple. This bill just reads, "The Department of Education shall terminate on December 31st, 2023. Text is a concise measure reads." I don't think this will pass, but it's a good step in the right direction, and it really introduces you to who we need to be supporting in this fight. Quote, "I have introduced a bill to terminate the Department of Education. There is no constitutional authority for this federal bureaucracy to exist." 100%. This is where all this hive mind garbage comes from. This is why you specifically see all of these things happening across the United States at once in all of these schools, because it is disseminated by the Department of Education, and the teachers' unions also need to be taken down. Quote, "Unelected bureaucrats in Washington, D.C. should not be in charge of our children's intellectual and moral development. States and local communities are best positioned to shape curriculum that meets the needs of their students. Schools should be accountable. Parents have the right to choose the most appropriate educational opportunities for their children, including homeschool, public school, or private school." Massey's press release lists, and I want to put these names out here so you know who to support: GOP Rep Andy Biggs of Arizona, Dan Bishop of North Carolina, Lauren Boebert, of course, Eric Burleson of Missouri, Harriet Hageman of Wyoming, Rich McCormick of Georgia, Mary Miller of Illinois, and Chip Roy of Texas as original co-sponsors. So remember those names, support them best you can. So if you didn't think that was madness enough, I have another story for you. Don't think this is just happening in one area of the country. This is happening all over these school systems. Another story here for you. Teacher fired for refusing to conceal students' gender transitions from parents. Quote, "I realized that I couldn't be a Christian and a teacher." California School District recently fired a Christian teacher after she refused to comply with the district's policies that required her to conceal students' gender transitions from her parents. She also has a federal case here. This should also go to the Supreme Court. Jessica Tapia informed the district that because of her religious beliefs, she would not be able to lie or withhold information regarding the well-being of children from their parents. They wanted her to conceal the gender identity that is being pushed upon these kids. The teacher explained that the school required her to refer to students by their preferred pronouns and withhold that information from their parents. She was also told to allow transgender students into the locker room that coincides with their chosen gender identity. Tapia said that the district told her that it would be discriminatory against transgender students not to allow biological boys into the female locker room. Just let that marinate for a sec. The school district told her that it would be discriminatory against transgender students not to allow biological boys into the female locker room. That is dangerous. If you have a little girl, get her the hell out of public school now. Quote, I was very clear with them. If the student has male genitalia, I'm not letting them into the female locker room. She basically got fired for this, for not supporting their madness. So this teacher is forced to enable the fallacy that is transgenderism. It is gender dysphoria. It is a mental condition, and we are encouraging it. The schools are encouraging it, and it's through propaganda. It's not random that all of these kids suddenly just attach themselves to this fad. It's entirely pushed by the government right now. These kids are literally going to be screwed up for the rest of their lives once they get out of these public schools and they realize, oh, wait, the real world is not this crazy. This is why their suicide rate is so high. Transgenderism is not real. We shouldn't even enable and continue to use that term. It is gender dysphoria. These people have a mental condition. They need to be checked into asylums. I've got one more story here for you, too. If this doesn't convince you of what they have in mind for your kids and for the future of society, quote, male and female should be replaced with sperm producing, egg producing to be inclusive, says scientists. So it's not scientific. It's about being inclusive. Researchers from the United States and Canada suggested that scientists should stop using harmful terminology and instead adopt more inclusive and precise language, including replacing terms such as male and female with sperm producing and egg producing. So basically, women, I hate to break it to you, basically your chickens, your ducks, your geese, yeah, just go lay some eggs. The group's website lists 24 so-called harmful terms that should be banned from the scientific community, including man, woman, father, primitive, and invasive. Don't let the left ever tell you that the right is about book burning. They are literally censoring and deleting words from the English language. You can go on Google now and look up definitions, and they will be completely different from what they were back in 2008. They are literally changing the English language. This fight is for the minds. It is for the children. They are going after language. They are going after our way of life. We must continue the fight. That's all I have for you today. If you guys enjoyed this content, again, I am Alexander Graves. Please follow us on Twitter at Waking America Up. I am censored all over. So if you have any ideas on how I can push my message out there or share it with your friends, please go ahead and do so. If you guys want to support this content, I put a lot of time and effort into it. Please consider heading on over to buymeacoffee.com/wakeup. Not required, always appreciated. I will continue speaking my voice regardless. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. Watch your back, stay frosty, and keep a round in the chamber.